Hi, this is Shep Hyken. Let's get right to it with a story about a cab driver that delivers outstanding customer service.
It was in Dallas, Texas, middle of the summer, 102 degrees, sweltering. And I just finished a program just like this. I walked out of the convention center dressed like this, had a couple of heavy suitcases, and I was in luck because up was pulling the taxi cab. Out jumps the driver. He comes around to take my bags. Let me describe to you what he looked like. Cut off shorts, a sleeveless shirt, messed up hair. Hadn't shaven in maybe a week. For all I know, he hadn't showered in a week. I look at this man and I think to myself, this is not a moment of magic. This is a moment of misery. Why? As I look at him, I'm thinking, what does the inside of that taxi cab look like? I mean, look at him. You know it's dirty and grimy in there. You know there's no air conditioning. It's probably broken. I'm going to get into this moving sauna, and 25 minutes later, I will be drenched in sweat. The suit will be wrinkled for the day, and about the time I actually get out of the cab, a little spring's going to pop through the vinyl seat and rip my pants. So I look at him, and he looks at me, and he says in this deep Texan accented voice, sounded nothing like the man that I was looking at, and I can't even get as low as he can go, but I'll try, he said, "Get in the cab. It's nice and cool inside the cab. I'll take care of the bags." And he smiled. It didn't look right. Sure didn't sound right. I look behind the cab to see if there's a ventriloquist. Well, I handed the gentleman my bags. I opened the door, and cool air hit me in the face. The air conditioners worked just fine. As a matter of fact, it was cold inside the cab. And as I got in, the cab was spotlessly clean. And sitting on the seat next to me were two newspapers, the local Dallas paper and a USA Today. And right in the middle where the hump is, there was a bucket with ice and 2 soft drinks. Couldn't believe it. I had to look back to make sure the guy was still putting the bags in the back of the cab. Eventually, he gets into the front seat, picks up a dish of candy, turns around, offers me a piece of candy, and that's when I remembered what Mom always said. Don't ever take candy from strangers. This was different. I took the candy, and I asked the guy, "Is this your cab, or are you like borrowing it for the day?" And he answered me. He said, and I won't get as low as he can go, he said, "This is my cab, and you make yourself at home. The newspapers are yours to take with you at the end of the trip, no extra charge. The sodas are yours to drink, compliments of me. Have as much candy as you'd like, and by the way, it's a $22 flat rate, which is the same rate that any honest cab driver would charge you from downtown out to the airport. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride." And I thought, wow, this guy's good. We get onto the highway. He asked me a question no cab driver has ever asked me before. "Are you in a hurry? Is it okay if I do the speed limit?" Well, by that time, I was reading a newspaper, drinking a soda. I said, "Take your time." Then we start to talk to one another. He asked me questions like, "Where are you from? What do you do for a living?" We start to converse. And then he asked me if I'd ever seen the famous fountain at Las Colinas. I said, "I'm not sure." He said, he described it to me. I said, "I've seen a picture." He said, "Then you've got to see it in person." And he started to get excited. "It is right on the way to the airport. If you've got an extra few minutes, I would love to show you the fountain. Just to block off the highway, and I'm not going to charge any extra money. It's a $22 flat rate from downtown out to the airport. And it's not only the most beautiful fountain in the entire Dallas area, it may be the most beautiful fountain in the entire United States. Would you like to see the fountain?" I said, "Show me the fountain." I was getting excited. A mile or so later, he pulls off the highway, and there it is, the beautiful fountain. And he jumped out of the cab, and he pulled me out. He said, "Look at that. Is that the most beautiful fountain you've ever seen?" I'm thinking, you're strange, man. It's just a fountain. But for those that aren't familiar with it, larger than life-size statues of horses galloping across the water. And where their hooves are hitting the water, it's splashing up. And I swear, as you look at these horses, these statues, you can sense energy and motion. And if you didn't see the big buildings behind this fountain, you'd swear you were looking out on the prairie at horses running across the water. And he goes on and on about it. We're back in the cab. We're on our way back to the airport. And he asked me for a business card because he collects the cards of the people he works for. And we exchanged cards. And he said, "The next time you come back to Dallas, you call me. You let me know what time, what flight, what airline." He says, "I will be there. I won't charge you any extra money. It's a $22 flat rate. But I will treat you like a limousine driver. I will park the cab outside. I will walk inside. And when you go over to get your bags, I will be standing there with open arms, ready to help you out." He said, "Don't worry, you'll recognize me." So we get to the airport, it's $22, he gets a huge tip. And I love telling this story because it started out to be what? A moment of misery, very good, but it quickly turned into a moment of magic. Because with the exception of the first impression, he not only managed the moments of truth along the way, he created some moments of magic as well. He had the sodas, he had the newspapers, he had the candy, and that little trip to see the fountain. I mean, I couldn't wait to see what we were going to do the next time I came back to Dallas. You know, shopping at the new mall. Well, I can go on and on about Frank, but I'm going to tell you that's not the best part of the story. Now, as Paul Harvey would say, here is the rest of the story. 4 days later, I'm in my office. I open up my mail, and there's a thank you note from my cab driver, Frank. Unbelievable. How often do we receive a thank you note from a cab driver? You know, every Christmas I get a Christmas card from Frank and his wife.
Since 1983, I've been a professional speaker and author, focusing on customer loyalty, customer service, and internal service. I also have a fun motivational program titled You Are the Magic. My speeches combine important information with humor, magic, and audience participation to create exciting programs.
Every moment of truth, even when it's a moment of misery, is an opportunity to become a moment of magic. Don't be ordinary. Be extraordinary. Have you ever asked yourself this question? Why would someone do business with me? Or put another way, what is it that I do differently than my competition that would make someone want to do business with me instead of them? Knowing the answers to these questions can take you from being ordinary to being extraordinary. Manage the first impression. This is an easy moment of truth to make happen. It's also an easy one to blow. What am I talking about? The first impression is not just the first time you see somebody. It could be the 5 millionth time you see somebody. It's just simply setting the tone for the impression that's to follow. If they're satisfied customers, why wouldn't they want to come back? Well, it's easy. They're just satisfied. In other words, it's just okay. Nothing great, just all right. And our customers, given the opportunity to do business with someplace that's better than just okay, they're going to do it. Here is a lesson in communication. Listen to this, folks. People say one thing, they mean something else, which means you might misunderstand them. Which means in order to understand them, you need to ask extra questions. You can't just hear, you need to listen. Under promise, over deliver. If you want to exceed your customers' expectations, if you want to make moments of magic, if you're in this game to play and win, you must exceed their expectations, set an expectation, and then over deliver. Under promise, over deliver. It's easy to create a moment of magic when things are going great. It's when it's not going well. Well, that's when you have a real opportunity to shine. Remember this, every moment of truth, even if it's a moment of misery, is an opportunity to create a moment of magic.
You can tell I love what I do. My objective is to give the audience information they can use immediately. And at the same time, I want to keep them entertained. This final video clip shows how I use entertainment, magic, and audience participation to close one of my speeches.
I'd like to do one more final moment of magic for you, kind of get you laughing again, get you excited. This is one of my very favorites because this is where I give you, the entire audience, a chance to win $1,000 instant cash, compliments of MDRT. What I need to do is need to borrow somebody. I thought, who better to borrow if we're going to give away money to everybody but the president of this fine organization. Reggie, would you please step up to the stairs here and let's give him another hand. He's been terrific. Reggie, they're all different, aren't they?
Yes.
I wouldn't show them to you if they weren't, that's for sure. There's even jokers in here, so if you get a joker, you have to change the card. Would you just say stop anywhere in the middle you'd like there?
Stop.
There you go, and do not let me see the card, but take a look at it. And if you can show the camera I'm not looking, go ahead. Tell me when I can look, Reggie.
Okay.
Can I look?
Yes.
Good. Now, I need you to be loud so everybody here can hear. I have a card up here, this large card, and you have a card. Loud and truthful so everyone can hear. Is your card a red card or a black card?
A black card.
Then so is mine. If I fail, everybody gets $1,000. Compliments of MDRT. Is the card a spade or a club?
A club.
Then so is mine. Is the card a 10 of clubs?
No.
Then either is mine. Reggie was getting excited here for a second. But let me tell you, if you did have the 10, my card would not also be the 10. That would be too easy. That would be boring. What I'm going to do is make this exciting. This is the grand finale. If you have a 10, I'm going to have a 5. If you have an 8 of clubs, my card will be a 4 of clubs. My card will be half the value of your card. If I fail, everyone here will get $1,000. Compliments of... I have never seen dead people sit up before. Everybody together as loud as you can so the people across the street can hear us. Compliments of...
MDRT.
Much better. Reggie, take that card, divide it in half. Go ahead. I don't believe this. Wait, let me explain what's happening here, Reggie. You don't tear the card in two. If you have a 10, I have a 5. This is a perfect point here of the communication thing. It also makes another important point. Some clients just aren't worth doing business with. But you are worth it. If you have a 10, I'll have a 5, you have an 8, I'll have a 4. Let's do it this way. Just take the number of your card, divide it in half, and tell everybody here, what should I have in my hand? Right here.
A 3.5.
What did you say? A 3.5? Let me see the card. May I see it? You can sit down now. I don't believe. Where's Jennifer? Get the car started. Now I know what you're thinking. How about going double or nothing? This could be a real moment of misery, especially for the folks at MDRT. And I got to tell you right now, they are my clients, and they're saying he better have the 3.5 of clubs. And by golly, I'm not going to create a moment of misery up here. They want it. By golly, we've got it. The 3.5 of clubs. Thank you all very much. You guys have been wonderful. May all your moments be moments of magic. Thanks, everyone. Woo! Thank you.